So, I have a confession. In the years I've been playing Hearts of Iron 4, I have never played a full game as the German Reich. Never. The closest I ever got was forming the Holy Roman Empire on the channel, which was quite fun, or playing with some mods, but that's obviously not a normal German experience. But with the introduction of the Götterdämmmerung expansion, oh gosh, Germany's looking real enticing today. So we're gonna play with the German Reich, but we're gonna add in a very fun twist. Hey everybody, my name is Pravus, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are gonna be going for a very special achievement run, which means we're playing in Iron Man mode. The specific achievement that I want to go for is going to be called Woman in a High Castle, as Germany with a female leader either annex the USA, including Alaska and Hawaii, or have an American puppet that owns all of its territory. Now that doesn't sound too bad, the pretty typical Germany conquers the world campaign, but the female leader part means we have only a couple of approaches. We could go for the Holy Roman Empire and Victoria 3, we've done that before and it has a lot of RNG, I'm not keen to do that again. Or we could try to go for the secret leader, Eva Braun, for the German Reich. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Let's start by remilitarizing the Rhineland. This is going to be a weird video and a little bit longer than you guys might be used to. We're going to be building Germany up and then deliberately crashing it down twice before eventually we move forth to conquer the world. The timing's a little finicky, but it does work, I promise. Before we go any further though, I would like to acknowledge today's sponsor. Me! You guys know that I never plug myself or any of my merch on my channel. However, today I got something really cool. Oh, it turned out so good! Look at this thing! Yes, folks, I partnered up with Epic Desk to create a custom desk pad just for you guys. And I gotta say, their artist really knocked it out of the park. All I had to do was send over a few reference images, you know, the Acolyte, the Eclipse, a couple little ideas and prompts, and they took it from there, and wow, look what they came up with. But if red is not your color, and maybe you trend more toward the heretical side of chaos, don't worry, I got you covered. Bam! Look at that, just as beautiful. Now, this is not your typical $30 gimmick mat, okay? We've all seen those, and their quality is not that great. This thing is premium. Every single person I have shown this to has commented on the quality of this thing. It is silky smooth, just the right amount of cushion, and the stitching is perfect. In fact, I'd go so far as to say this is the nicest desk mat I have ever had, and as a YouTuber, I've had a lot of them. Now, maybe you're wondering how to get one of these yourself, and here's how this is gonna work. From now until January 1st, we are accepting orders. Within 5 to 7 business days from ordering, every pad is going to be printed and shipped worldwide. But once we get to January 1st, that is it. No more orders, this is taken off of the market, and it will not be restocked. It is done and gone for good. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Heck, I'll probably buy a couple more myself. I want to have spares for life. The sizing is about 36 by 16 inches, and they will be selling for $39.95. Remember, you are paying for a true quality product that is going to last. Not to mention you're getting an amazing design and of course, supporting the channel at the same time. Look, I don't do merch ever, alright? But when I do, let no one say I don't go for the good stuff. Remember, you have until January 1st to make your purchase and then it is gone, so check out that link down below.
Oh, hi. Yes? You like it? Yes, you do. Oh, he's taking it now.
Now, where were we? Let's go ahead and build out some civilian factories. Don't actually build in the Rhineland right now, by the way. There is a new focus that was added into the game called Build the Ruhr Dam, which gets you a lot of extra construction speed. So if you start building in the Rhineland early for the extra steel and stuff, you miss out on this bonus. Gonna pick up my pretty standard lineup of construction and research technologies. And for our factories, we mostly want some infantry equipment, a bit of support equipment, some artillery. Don't need these tanks, do need some trucks and some planes. I'll skip on the cast and stuff for now. And then as far as these boats, we'll just go ahead and finish out what they already started working on, but otherwise, forget these, they're terrible. We can't ignore the Navy, though. We actually will need it to get into the UK, since they're a bit better at defending themselves than they used to be. So we're gonna get the Navy together, and I'm gonna start training them until I get a bit of Navy XP. We're also gonna send some air volunteers down to Ethiopia to farm out some air XP. And of course, we're gonna have to train up as much infantry as we can, for the Anschluss and all that. With special projects, we do have some new stuff we can work toward. I'm going to start working on the military engineering vehicles first. The Flammpanzer is quite good, but I'm not going to have medium tanks for a while, so I'd rather just focus on this. If you don't know what the military engineer companies do, don't worry, you'll see. Now, you may be wondering, how do we get Eva Braun as the leader of Germany? Well, mainly, we need Mr. Mustache Man to reveal himself to be a babbling buffoon and embarrass Germany by making demands of our neighbors that then get refused. There are 5 events in total that can trigger this. One is to have the Allies refuse to allow the Rhineland to be remilitarized, which never happens in historical mode. The second is for Austria to refuse the Anschluss, which again, never happens in historical mode. That leaves the Sudetenland, Slovenia, and Memel. Now, the problem is, in all 3 cases, you're very likely to succeed, which may seem like there's going to be a lot of RNG in this. But if you're willing to take a few extra steps and play an abnormal game, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get the failures in at least 2 of those 3 events. And we are definitely not playing normally today. Now, at this point, normally I would reorganize the Wehrmacht in order to get the extra war support so I can move directly to war economy. But we can do something very similar to this and play around with a new feature first called Führerprinzip, which is going to activate the inner circle. Also, real quick, let me just take a quick pit stop and make sure we get the MIFO Bills Architect for less consumer goods factor. Actually, MIFO Bills got completely reworked in this. We need to talk about that, but one thing at a time. You see, with this complete, we now get to choose between one of several different characters to join our inner circle. And there's a cooldown between choosing these folks. I think it's like 175 days or something along those lines. So the sooner we pick this up, the sooner we get the cooldown moving, and this can be very, very powerful for us. I'm going to start with Mr. Gobbles over here, because he also gets me that extra war support that I need to go for the war economy. But the reason you pick these up early, though, is that they are going to do their own focuses. They do not need more intervention on your end. So picking them up early means you get these activated a bit sooner. Plus, it only takes like 14 days to get this guy. So it's a smidge slower than reorganizing the Wehrmacht, but not by much, and we have better long-term benefit. So let's grab that war economy. Now, let's talk a little bit about MIFO bills, because this is kind of a big deal. They got completely reworked. The most important thing you guys need to know is that the consumer goods factor is going to be going up every month all the way up to 100%. At some point, our economy is going to be completely decimated by these things. We could cancel the bills, which has a whole bunch of problems. We could go for a slightly easier approach up over here by prioritizing economic growth. This also gets rid of the MIFO bills and has a really nasty impact on your consumer goods to start, but you reduce it dramatically as you focus down the economic tree. Or we could go for a much higher risk, higher reward play with the 4-year plan. And that's what I'm going to do. This is actually going to be a very important set of focuses for us at the beginning of the game. When you get to the federal state of Austria and this thing, you could spend the political power making it a little bit easier to do the Anschluss. I don't really feel like it's that useful, but we could spend the political power on it. I'm going to try skipping it. Basically, you need 24 times the size of the Austrian army to do the Anschluss, and if you pick that up for 50 political power, it just goes to 23 times bigger. To me, that just doesn't seem like a big deal. Now, real quick, one thing I am going to do is go to our ship design, and we're going to do something kind of cheeky that I learned from some other content creators. If you go to the heavy ship hull over here and place down, let's say, just one big heavy battery and a very cheap engine here, we can make a heavy ship that is absolute trash and yet somehow gets a pretty good amount of naval superiority when you do a strike mission. So the entire purpose of building this cheap trash heavy ship is just going to make it easier for us to eventually cross the English Channel and attack the British. All right, 4-year plan is done. We are going to go back to the economic focuses with autarky efforts. This is going to change up our trade and export focus entirely to something unique called autarky. I don't really care about this too much. It's just kind of okay for some construction and research speed at the beginning of the game, but I definitely want to move to institution of price controls. This is how we are going to control the effect of the MIFO bills early in the game. And it's getting bad. 25% right now. But I'm intentionally stacking up a bit of political power here because now we can go to our price control measures and start reducing those consumer goods. So we'll do some import tariffs, we'll collect some scrap metal, we'll launch some guns, etc. That brings the MIFO bills down to only 8%, now, 3% consumer goods. Okay, not bad. I'm then gonna go back over here and construct the Reichsautobahn over here. This is gonna give me maximum infrastructure in 4 of my states. Around now, we should be finishing up some of these civilian factories, a little while to go, but it's about time to start remilitarizing and that's where having the max infrastructure is going to make this a little bit faster. Oh, and it looks like the Spanish Civil War just began. Perfect. Let's go ahead and grab some units and start farming out some XP. If I can't send 3 units, we can fix that. Let's go ahead and force deploy a few units. Now I can send 3. Thank you. Let's also go ahead and hire up our army organizer. Actually, I would normally pick this guy, but I'm instead going to go for Kittel over here, because once we do eventually have some German civil wars, and yes, that's going to happen, these 3 guys are going to go away. That leaves only him, so we might as well pick up this guy. And we finished with our military engineering vehicles. Oh, these things are going to be sweet. We could start constructing them. I'll go ahead and just set it aside for when we do have a military factory. Now, it's also not a bad time to go ahead and build out a spy agency, because I would love to get some collaboration governments going with the UK and with France. And now that my units have arrived here in Spain, I actually don't care if they really win this war quickly. That's not my goal. I'm just going to set these guys and just start attacking. Doesn't matter too much, we'll help them win, but I just want to farm out XP. The longer this war lasts, the better for me, technically. Okay, it's probably time to start thinking about the Anschluss, which we do have a large enough army for this to happen, which is why I didn't bother with that event. We were going to have a large enough army anyway. Let's reorganize the Wehrmacht. And an important thing to keep in mind is I only need to train up to about 725,000 manpower in the field. Right now, I'm technically training up too many units. We can afford to cancel a few. So this is about what I'm looking for. Finish out all of these divisions, and we're going to be able to continue. Oh, hold on. The German army is no longer large enough. They barely trained up some units. Hold on, we can fix that. Deploy. Sneaky little boogers thought they could stop me. Now, you might think that we also want to be going for things like an industrial concern or a theorist or something like that. And no, not yet. We don't really care about that. I will, however, pick up the Minister of Labor just for the extra factory output. And notice that this focus down over here has been completed by Mr. Goebbels. So he's just working down this on his own. This is why I like picking these guys up early. And speaking of which, we should grab our next guy soon. Anschluss is about to be done. Thank you, Austria, for being so accommodating. And then we're going to go ahead and pick up probably Party Chancellor Bormann for my next leader. Hess isn't a bad choice either. Kind of depends on if we want to have lots of political power and lots of military organizations, or if I'd like to have cheaper advisors. Actually, I think maybe the raw extra political power might be better. Do we do this? Yeah, actually, let's go for Hess. Don't forget to keep your consumer goods nice and low. And also, we are now again training too many soldiers. Let's pull back a little bit. There is absolutely 0 point in training more than 725,000 manpower. None whatsoever. Now, since we're in the process of constructing lots of military factories, I think now's a good time to go ahead and pick up acceleration of the rearmament program, getting me some extra military factory construction speed. And ultimately, I would say that our goal here is to go for true autarky, which means we need a stupid number of resources in the German Reich's territory, or we need to have it controlled by our puppets. Fun fact though, if we can conquer pretty much the entirety of Europe, we will be able to achieve that. Okay, now let's go over to the KDF wagon factories, which is going to give me some Civ factories. We'll also go ahead and build up that Ruhr Dam. And I guess I don't mind picking up Göring over here for our Reichsmarschall. Just go ahead and get that extra production costs on fighters. And I actually do want to try training up a few motorized. Now, this may seem like an unusual choice, and I'm deliberately not going to set them for deployment. I want to hold on to this. We can start working on that flamethrower tank now. We'll go ahead and start that research. And with the dam now built over here, we can now think about going for Sudetenland. And this is a very important part of this run. First, I think I need to quickly deploy these last 2 troops. That should bring me up to 726,000 to the field. Thank you. So it's time to make our demand here. Now again, we want to fail this. There is a way to basically guarantee we shall fail this. It's not an absolute guarantee, but it's close. Right when this finishes, and I mean like the hour it finishes, we have to pause the game. By the way, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the spy advisor. Why not? Also, definitely need to build up some of these refineries. I need to have at least like 12 of these things. All right, slower down, wait until we get to 70, and right around 1 a.m. we need to pause the game. Stop right here. So right now, the Czechs are about to be delivered a decision, and we need to stop the game before they make that decision. Normally, if you have a very large army compared to the Czechs, there is a 90% chance that they will give up the Sudetenland, and we need this to be a failure. The best way to prevent this from happening is to start deleting troops. If they have at least 75% of your military strength in the field, there's a very solid chance that they will say no. Which means I'm now going to be deleting a bunch of my troops. Like, almost all of them. And then what's left, I'm going to be converting to some simple 12-width infantry divisions that I got from the Austrians. This brings me down to just under 200,000 manpower in the field, which is, I think, about what it will take for them to say no. While we wait for them to make up our minds, let's go and pick up Reichsleiter Tot over here. And please say no, please say no. They did say no! Good. Alright, now we have a war goal focus against the Czechs. Perfect. All according to plan. Now we start training up our new reinforcements. It's okay to start deploying them again. All we needed was to have a small enough army to get us to that point. That's it. Nothing else mattered. That is one blunder! For Mr. Mustache Man, don't you look silly. Now, there is this sweet spot little moment when the Romanians stop guaranteeing the Czechs and the UK hasn't gotten involved quite yet. And that seems to be about halfway through the Reichsleiter Tot focus. So this is kind of the sweet spot where I want to have all my troops in position. And I did, by the way, pull my troops back over here to this side of the river. It occurred to me in one of my test games that if I did something down over here, they never really advanced fast enough. So I think this is going to have to be fine. Now we declare our war before anyone else can get involved. And we are just going to sit here. We're not going to do anything yet. This does lead to the rearmament program. We can say we're done with the MIFO bills. Now we are moving to an economy of conquest. This is a whole new high-risk, high-reward play, but it's really powerful, and we're going to take it. All right, now I need the Czechs to start attacking and taking as much as possible. The way this is going to work is if we are losing a war, we are losing 10% of our victory points, right? We are that close towards capitulation. Then when I demand Memel, Lithuania, I think, is guaranteed to say no. And that would be blunder number 2. That's why I want the Czechs to attack me. I also want them to just kind of leave themselves open over here so that it's easy for me to just rush in here and finish the war as soon as I have the blunder. So let's reassert our eastern claims. They now have 35 days to move a bit faster than this, and the Czechs are apparently taking their sweet, sweet time, which concerns me a little bit. One thing we could do is try to pull back so they don't feel like they need to have so many troops on the front. They really need to run in here and grab things like Vienna and Breslau and maybe even Nuremberg. If they can do that, we're fine. If they don't, then I'm gonna have to restart. Alternatively, we could literally just cancel the focus and do something else. I don't want to do that, but they apparently are not gonna make any moves. Gosh dang it. All right, that's a reboot. This is the hardest part of this entire strategy. Maybe this time around, I'm gonna intentionally not deploy too many units up front and see if maybe we can entice them to move further forward. I don't know. I also forgot to swatch these guys to the 12-width infantry, and they still did say no. So 250,000 manpower can work, I think. Now, I imagine they're going to come and attack me a bit harder because I don't have as many defenders. No surprises there. I do see them moving a bit to the west. I want them to keep going, though. Maybe I pull back a little bit more around Nuremberg so I don't feel like they have to hold back. Something like this, maybe? Leave your mountains, guys. Come on. Reassert the eastern claims. Already I see some more progress. There we go. I think it was that they saw that there were too many units on the front line and they got scared. But now we've already lost 18%. Okay, we can start tightening the noose. Go ahead. Spread yourselves out, guys. See how well that works for you. Keep spreading out your troops. Get a nice thin line for me. Oh, by the way, we do lose our MIFO Bills advisor as soon as those are gone and replaced with the economy of conquest. So now we can go for a Minister of Economy guy, which is good because my consumer goods is not looking great right now. Come on, Lithuania, tell me no. Say no to Memel. And they did say no. Okay, that, my friends, is 2 blunders. Now we need to end this war as fast as humanly possible because we are on the clock. Mr. Mustache Man is about to have a very bad day. And the meantime to happen for the next event is, I think, 120 days, but I've had it happen within the first, 2 weeks, and we get screwed, so we gotta go fast here. That's why I trained up the motorized. We can also afford to play the game somewhat normally now. Somewhat. Let's go ahead and move over to, let's say, modern maneuver warfare and start working towards some medium tanks. All I need is a moment to break through this line with my motorized, and we should be able to move extremely fast. Hit all of their victory points. Don't even worry about my own. Go, 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 go. Just need to pop down toward, Bratislava, get over to Nitra, try to get you guys back up in Ostrava. You're gonna go grab these. Just one more victory point should do the job. There we go. Nice, speedy war. And of course, we're gonna take everything for myself because why wouldn't I? Okay, believe it or not, that is the hardest part of this entire run done and executed with perfection before the conspiracy fires. And now that that's done, we do get to move to something that is new for us. And that would be seizing Czechoslovakian gold reserves. Now, I can't do anything with this right now because my economy of conquest currently has my consumer goods in the negative, which is great, but it will be rising just like with the MIFO bills, in fact at 3.5%, which is terrible. But as you conquer any country in the game, you start getting these gold reserves, which is your way of helping to reset the consumer goods back down toward zero. So basically, from here on out, we really want to be conquering everyone around us. It doesn't matter how small the nation is, it is worth conquering. That said, obviously, if I do that right now, we would be looking at World War II. So I'm gonna have to eat the bullet of the economy of conquest for at least a while. But this is gonna pay off beautifully once we go to war. By the way, we do have some new focuses down over here. We could develop Western Germany, which boosts up my construction speed a little bit, which I will do because I'm currently building factories over here, so that's going to speed a few things up. Also, our flaming tanks are now done. Good. We also have a war goal that we can use against Lithuania up over here until August 1939. We got a fair bit of time, about 2 years before we have to do that, but I don't want to forget it. That would suck. Let's go ahead and work down... Well, do we want to go the Prussian Legacy to get Grand Battle Plan, or do I want to go down Mobile Warfare? Technically speaking, I think you could argue Grand Battle Plan is the mathematically better doctrine, but I am going to be making use of fast tanks. So let's just go for the Panzers. So, waiting for an event. Waiting for an event. And we're just going to remilitarize as much as we can in the meantime. I am going to do something controversial and delete my motorized now, which I know is weird, and then we're going to start retraining them, but not deploy them. Start researching radar as a unique technology. We could go for our Blitzkrieg theorist at this point. I guess I will. No, not mobile warfare, it's terrible! It's fine, it's probably fine. Come on, event, you're taking a long time to fire here. Work with me. This game is legitimately taunting me right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and send more volunteers and keep grinding out XP. Alright, I actually don't know what's going on. By now, the thing usually has fired for me. Like, we're way past 120 days meantime. It doesn't technically change anything or matter much. I'm just very frustrated because this is going to cost me some valuable time. We can at least go grab Organization Tot over here. So this is something you can't pick up until your advisor has gotten down to this stage, but it ends up being a very good company over time, so it's worth picking up. Seriously, where is my conspiracy? It is July. I had this fire in February last time. Like, I know mean time to happen is hardly a guarantee, but holy crap, dude. Might as well build up a 30-width division, though 36 might be better for us. I want the motorized recon, I want support artillery, I want the assault engineers, which, by the way, are a counterpart now to our engineering company. Whereas this gives you a lot of defense and movement speed, this gets rid of the defense and gives you huge attack modifiers. Like, this is great. Plus, we toss on the medium flank tank companies, plus we toss on some signal companies, and all of a sudden, this 30 width is looking pretty darn good. And I definitely want to start training up some of those as well. Oh my god, we're in August. What is happening? I am so angry right now. It's not possible that it's bugged, is it? That would be a... Oh god, please no. This is unbelievable. Okay, I don't know if I bugged it or what. We may amazingly have to start over and do this again. Oh my god. Oh, okay, now, see, this is more what I was expecting. Okay, so we basically had to start over. We got pretty much the same sort of result. I think I finished Czechoslovakia off a little bit later than before. But now in October 1937, the Oster conspiracy has fired. All right. Someone is looking to kill the Mustache Man. The Mustache Man. The Mustache Man. We could protect him, or we could say, no, this is exactly what we were hoping for, and maybe his removal would be the best. Now, this is where I'm going to do something, let's call a little bit cheeky. We could call this kind of like cheating a little bit, but, I mean, if it's not removed from the game, it counts. We can just go ahead and take all of my current divisions that are deployed out in the field and make them into some very cheap 2-width divisions. Painfully weak, I know. But at the same time, when a civil war fires, which is a 95% chance of happening right now, they'll also be extremely weak. Yep, see, the Führer is dead. All right, along with him was his longtime confidant, Eva Braun. Okay, so we now can have her get her vengeance. She's actually not a half-bad leader for, you know, the Iron Maiden, discount Margaret Thatcher. But by picking this, we are going to start the Civil War, so I'm going to give myself a quick second for my units to kind of get into the center of the map just so we can quickly redeploy. Same with these guys up over here by Königsberg. I'd hate for this to fire off and have no troops, then I'd have to do a naval invasion. Boom! Eva Braun must have her vengeance. You're kidding me. The Civil War did not Right, I've been punished for being cheeky. And by punished, I mean I've been weirdly not punished, but it also ruins the flashiness of this event. Normally, the Civil War would fire, and some, random, 3 parts of the country would get half your troops and half your equipment, and then you'd have to fight them. Which is where if I took these 2-width units and then immediately turned them into 18-width units, the AI would be screwed and I'd have an advantage, even if they are green. But we just rolled the 5% chance that a Civil War doesn't fire. God, what is going on with this game? This is bizarre. I mean, okay, it's not like I'm gonna complain. I'm just shocked. In that case, I guess there's really no harm in just deploying all my new units. And here I thought I was gonna be really clever too. The game just had to screw with me. That's what happened. Okay, well, in that case, I'm just gonna do everything I did exactly as before, but now we have Eva Braun in charge. Hooray. This time, though, as I rebuild up my military, this one is for real, all right? We built our army up, then deliberately deleted it. Then I built my army up, and then I immediately nerfed it. Turned out I didn't need to, but it sounded smart in theory. Now we're building up for actual war. Now, at this point, I am strong enough by November 1938, since we didn't have the Civil War, that I could go for Danziger War. But I don't want to do this yet. Once I have my tanks in position, though, once they're built up, sure, then it'll be fine. How's our war economy looking? We're up to 25% consumer goods. That is a bit much. I'm going to pick up coal liquefaction, which is going to set it up by another 10%, which sucks. But at least we'll open up the last of my price control measures and reduce it by 5%. So it doesn't totally make up for things, but it means I can build my refineries faster. We really need to be going to war at some point soon, is what it means. Go to war, conquer somebody. I don't care who it is. Somebody's got to give me their gold. The first of our tank battalions is now deployed. It's gonna be a while before we get the rest, unfortunately. And since our economy is kind of starting to die under the economy of conquest, gonna have to move on this fairly soon. We can't afford to wait on World War II forever. See, this is the downside of going for the big Civil War that I did, or rather the Civil War in the Czechoslovakia route, getting Eva Braun, is we ended up forcing the War of Conquest a little bit too early, before we're ready to start conquering all the small guys. We're almost ready, don't get me wrong. We're very close. We're gonna steal Slovenia from Yugoslavia, for reasons, I don't really need it. We've got 45 factories on medium tanks right now, we're producing almost 11 a day. Still nowhere near enough. By about June, though, I have got to declare my war. I can't sit around on this. I'm also nervous that we don't exactly have the best planes right now. I'd love to have the 1940s planes a little ahead of time, and that's kind of what I'm working toward with a 50% bonus, but it's still gonna be a while. Italy wants to join our faction. I accept this, though to be fair, I have no intention of calling you into anything, because I don't want to share my war score. Alright, I don't think we can afford to wait any longer than this. I think it's time to go for Danziger War, which means we're about to start World War II. Hopefully we are ready. I don't have nearly as many tanks as I would like, but at least these are fully reinforced. And they should be reasonably strong for me, honestly. And honestly, once we do go to war and start winning some fights, a lot of things are going to solve themselves completely. Like, you think that this economy is looking bad right now with 70% consumer goods. Oh, admittedly, it's bad. It's very bad. But it'll fix itself. You know something I just realized? I think we're actually like 2 days off on declaring war on Lithuania, who is guaranteed by all the people that I'm about to fight, for the record. Huh. I think I have to declare my war on Lithuania, believe it or not. Because if I do not, then... In fact, actually, I think we're just going to bypass this focus. This whole thing was a waste of time. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a massive stability penalty if I don't do this. So, we're going to end up fighting the exact same people, which is hilarious, but there we go. Okay, well, it is what it is. Here we go. World War II time. Of course, what I really care about more than anything is getting into Poland and finishing them off fast. Which really shouldn't be hard. I mean, these should be pretty darn decent. Yeah, 350 soft attack each. Focus firing, it's okay. Of course, we do need to go around the Maginot. That's going to be our next priority as soon as both of these guys are down, which won't take terribly long. Poland's already down to 61% capitulation. Only lost 231 men so far, because I'm just going to micro my tanks. There's no reason to make this hard. I'll just use my superior speed with my maneuverability and everything else with the motorized, the tanks, and so on. Just grab all the victory points and call it a day. Just got to get into Danzig real quick, and that should finish them off. Then we want to finish off Lithuania. And here's the best thing, now I can start seizing the gold reserves from some of these other nations. Sure, it causes some resistance issues, but it's fine. That takes care of Lithuania, which means more gold reserves. My economy of conquest is now down to 43% consumer goods. And we also get to work on a few new focuses over here. For example, now that we're at war with some major nations, we can modify economy of conquest to just be better in general. And it's time to do typical Maginot things, which really should not be a problem with my tanks. We're barely taking any damage, and we're absolutely obliterating them. There goes the Netherlands. Down goes Belgium. And surprising absolutely no one, there goes France. I actually just got an achievement for that one, too. Huh. Do we want to have Vichy France? Nah, I don't need it. All right, so with that taken care of, we need to do a little bit of cleanup. Then we need to start thinking about who else we are going to murder. Specifically, I'm looking over here toward the Balkan nations and thinking, that looks mighty juicy. And since we're at war with a major power, it only takes 10 days to get new claims. Which means, while the UK just sits here and looks at me menacingly, I can just go conquer pretty much the entirety of Europe, and I don't even care. Why is that good? Well, one, I need all their natural resources for Autarky, but also, look at all these Dutch gold reserves and stuff. I can just get all of my consumer goods back. And now the economy conquest is down to minus 37% consumer goods. Yeah, this is why we like the economy of conquest. And that's without me even finishing all my tank divisions. So now let's have some infantry go and protect our borders and help escort the tanks. The rest are basically going to be on naval defense duty. Because y'all know the British would like to try something. Along the way, let's make sure we get as many air superiority bonuses and stuff as I can get, because we're now going to be entering into a weird little dog fight stage of the game, where I want to burn down as many of the British planes as I can. My hope is that we're going to have a pretty nice advantage, but they're going to be sending a lot of bombers after me, and now that I'm doing all the interception missions, we should be able to take out tons of their planes. In fact, in a lot of ways, I would actually argue that planes are now more important than tanks. The problem is, it's not like we have a lot of rubber deliveries, so we have to be very careful with what I use. Let's go ahead and justify a war goal against Yugoslavia next. Take down Hungary real quick. That takes care of them. Now, this might put me at war against Romania, I just realized. Okay, that's a small problem. Hold on, let's get some more defenders. That should be enough to hold them off. Go. Tanks are absolutely rolling over everyone. Gosh dang it, Croatia exists. Why are you here? Honestly, of the bunch, I'd argue that Yugoslavia might be the more annoying of them, just because of all those mountains. Croatia, I know you want to join my faction, but no, you're not supposed to exist. Let's start working on some of these last focuses that'll get me closer to autarky. We're very close here. Croatia goes down, we'll eat them. We're starting to run a little bit low on fuel. Hey, Soviets! Would you like to fuel my effort a little bit? There we go, that helps. And if I'm being honest, I don't really have much else that I feel like I need to research anymore. We're kind of set. Like, I can beat the Allies with what I've got right now. Easy peasy. Bulgaria goes down next. And then we just punch up through Romania. Who's trying to raid me? Hey! Oh, and I'm out of manpower. Ha 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 ha! Right, we should probably have gone up to extensive. Didn't think about that, but that was kind of important. And I'm just ignoring the UK right now. They can't land in my territory. I got nothing to really worry about. Well, let's take that back. Over here, I have something to worry about. And that takes care of Greece. So the entirety of the Balkans has now fallen, with the exception of Turkey. Don't care about them. Now the question is, what else do we do? Probably scare the crap out of Denmark, right? Sure, we'll do this next operation. We are burning through our tanks alarmingly quickly. So, with all these extra factories I'm getting, I guess we just go ahead and keep reinforcing. And our economy conquest is still sitting close to 0%, and I've got all these extra gold reserves to seize. This is why this is so good. I'm going to start up for a quick war against Spain and probably Portugal. I want to take all the tungsten in the region. Now, getting through the mountains here in Spain is probably going to be the toughest part of this, and then once I'm through, it's over. Yep, there we go. Easy peasy. How are we doing as far as casualties so far, out of curiosity? I've lost 53,000 men. I've killed 700,000. It's okay. I feel like we would be doing better, but my tanks don't have the absolute best reliability in the world. There goes Spain, and this time, since they couldn't join the Allies, I gotta take everything, including their navy, and that was very important for me. The reason being very simple: I need as many ships as possible for me to charge across that English Channel. Oh, right, Denmark. Hi, I declare war on you. We surrender! Very easy. I mean, how long do they last in the real world? 2 hours? It was something sad, I know that. So with Spain and Portugal down, I think the only thing that really remains is to try our luck against the British. Now, they're probably gonna fight me tooth and nail over this. Which, like, no surprise, but I'm hoping my panzers can do this anyway. We'll just try to land over here in Dover. Now, we've got about 100 ships in total. It's not a massive number, but it might be enough to scare off the English. And what I want to do is set this to strike force and tell them to hold for the moment. I'm going to take pretty much every single plane I've got in my arsenal, including close air support. And I'm going to set everything here to naval strike and air superiority. And I'm hoping with this much air control that they're going to be terrified to keep their navy here. I mean, they've got like 61 to 98 ships. It's a fair bit, but it's not as many as it could be. Strike force and naval supremacy. Do we have it? Looks like it. Launch! All right, this is it. Okay, looks like the British are defending. Is it going to be enough? It does not look like it. My panzers are simply too strong. Grab Portsmouth. Go, get them. As long as we secure the ports, we're fine, and we did. Now, the British usually do have a lot more troops than you're used to, so be prepared for the possibility that they're going to fight harder than they used to. But we were still able to get the naval invasion, and that's what matters. We need to quickly do some counterattacks before the British are able to get too much on me. London has already fallen. If there's anyone else worth declaring war on before this ends, now's the time. I'm going to grab things like Saudi Arabia. Why? Because I need autarky. That means oil. Lots of it. Wait, hold the heck on. The British are actually holding me. Whoa. Hold the heck on. Do we have no supply hub? We do. It's London. Why do I have, like, no useful supply? We've got to punch through here somewhere, or else I'm going to find myself constantly getting whittled down, which is exactly what they're doing right now. Whoa, dude. We may need to do another emergency landing somewhere. Where? It's the supply, man. I have nowhere near enough supply, and my tanks are getting themselves crushed. Let's do Operation Sea Lion here, just so I have a small boost if I need it. Getting one more port seems to have made a difference. Now everyone actually does have some supply. We can start entrenching. Here we go, here we go. And here come a bunch of reinforcements. Okay, now we're getting some more entrenchments. What I'm gonna have to do is be more careful with our tanks, try to push over and just grab supply. Get enough supply, we'll win. Here we go. Just had to get these tanks into a good position for some encirclement around Bristol, and this should take care of all of this army. All right. So if I can keep pushing through here and get to Plymouth, all of these units will die, and once this force collapses, that's the UK down for the count. And considering how low their organization is compared to me, no, we just melted through them. Boom, done. There we go. Absolutely shredded them once I got my tanks reorganized. Okay, and that is the entirety of the Allies done. And I didn't even check to see what time it is. Is it still 1940? Well, I have pretty much all the war score, which means I now get to do everything I want to do. So all of this is mine. But I will leave some little islands for exiles. And then I'll puppet them and I'll take their navies. And I'm not willing to concede pretty much any of this to Italy if I can avoid it. This should all be mine as far as I'm concerned. I did literally all the work. You just shot at Ethiopia. We are not the same. But in some places that are far away that I don't really care about, like Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, I'm not going to eat this land directly. I'll just go ahead and puppet them. But if I am going to do that, I also want to make sure that I get their resource rights. Again, for the purpose of, you know, my autarky. I also think that I need to take some land up here in Canada. Because remember, the point of this achievement is to take out the United States. And since they never joined this war, this should be pretty easy for us to do. They will be fighting alone. I need to get up into Ottawa. And of course, Italy is going to fight me over these last 4 states. But I've worn them out. Okay, there we go. And if my calculations are correct, we just became stupidly powerful. Hey, I just got the Why Die for Danzig achievement. Really? Huh. You get this by... What do you mean I turned France fascist and then occupied Danzig without going to war with France? I never turned them fascist. I just conquered them. That's not the same thing. Hey! Oh, one thing I meant to do before we did anything here was I was actually going to try to kick out the Italians from my faction and justify on them. Whoops. It's only gonna take 35 days. That's not so bad. It is, by the way, December of 1940. So, boom! I did it by 1940. Does this mean we can now achieve autarky? Yes, it does. Look what this does. Consumer good factories forever set to 0%. Truly a modern economic miracle. Of course, now my only goal remaining is to get over here to the United States and take them down. Probably means we need to get ourselves a lot more supplies. What do you think? Technically speaking, I guess I could also try to design a proper navy, but like, why? We've got the land access I need, and the United States is all isolated. This should be easy. But first, I'm gonna kill my former ally, Italy. Why? I don't know. I just feel like smacking him. I think I'll go ahead and increase my tank divisions up to 36 combat width, by the way, since we should have enough tanks to go around at this point. Those are some juicy stats. Autarky hath been achieved, which means, oh my god, look how many civilian factories I've got. That really is quite funny. Oh, loyalty to the Führerin. We can make Eva Braun a bit stronger. Oh my god. 10% more production efficiency cap and so— yeah, sure. Anyway, Italy, you're about to have a bad day. Oh, but you thought we were bros. You were wrong. Now you must die. There we go. That cuts off all their forces in the north. And I'm gonna guess that means the mainland is mostly undefended. Yep, Mussolini has already been deposed, surprising no one. The Soviet Union wants Bessarabia. I could give it up, because I honestly don't care about it. Yeah, I'll give it up. I don't actually care about Bessarabia at all. I mean, it's not like I can't just take it back on a whim, right? And there we go, easy peasy. I'm curious, what would it take for me to get a different achievement here? Weltpolitik over here, control all of our former colonies. Well, what's that? Cameroon, Togo, Tanganyika, Rwanda, Burundi. There's a bunch of them, actually. Oh, boy. Oh, I have to fight Japan. Qingdao over here. That used to be my former colony. Ah, crap. Yeah, and Palau as well. All right, well, I will worry about that another time. For now, let's go set up against the U.S. Still working on building up all of our supplies. Need to make sure that we have enough. Of course, air bases as well would be helpful. Now, I don't see a lot of Americans on the border, if I'm honest. Please tell me you guys are still on undisturbed isolation or something. No, you're at partial mobilization. Okay. They got troops. They got troops, yeah. Probably more in the field than I do, technically. But it's all about how you use them. And in the meantime, while I sit around waiting for you, I'm just gonna go ahead and start swapping out some of these motorized for mechanized. Oh, good timing. Japan also just declared war on the US. Actually, terrible timing. Does that mean I have to share things? It actually might. Which means all the more reason for us to move fast. And we've immediately punched through their lines and are spearheading our way down to New York City. That was so easy it hurts. Okay, do we even bother cleaning up the troops at this point, or do we just go for the kill? I think we go for the kill. It's not like America has literally anything that can stop me. We're just gonna set these guys to aggressive. Screw it. I mean, if we can just punch straight through the lines like this, they got nothing. Plus, I have 75% collaboration, so like, this is easy. Very close. Come on, a little bit more. We have 96% of the war score so far. There it is! All right, so now the question is, can I just take it all myself? What are the Japanese gonna try for? It says they have 0 points, so I mean, like, I feel like I should be able to take everything right now. And I will. I'll even take all your ships, because screw it. Boom. And that, my friends, is the achievement. That was very, very easy in the end, wasn't it? Boom. Woman in a high castle. And remember, this was us playing with, like, many handicaps, as we literally rebuilt our army twice from the ground up. Imagine how much stronger I would be if I were playing this properly. The German Reich might actually be unstoppable in this DLC. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and set up some of the new Reichskommissariats, or Sariats, I don't know how you say that. Whatever, the point is we could set up a whole bunch of different governments now. Just fun, little puppets. Don't really need to do that, though. We've got a handle on things. And just for fun, let's test ourselves against the Soviet Union. Though, one thing I want to test here is actually something I only recently learned about. The so-called armor meme, where basically you design a heavy tank that is surprisingly fast and packs as much armor as possible. And the idea is basically take all of your medium tanks, which are already at 8.5 kilometers per hour, and just swap out one medium tank for a heavy tank. Nothing else. Almost no change to my soft attack. My armor goes up by 45? That practically doubles my armor. And it doesn't even cost me many heavy tanks, because it's only one. It's something complicated as far as like how armor is calculated. Like 60% of the army's armor value is like the average of everything, and then 40% is the highest armor value. So when you have one really high armor value and everything else is less, it still ends up shifting toward a pretty high armor setup. This is why Space Marines work. So this is basically the Space Marines of medium tanks. Hilarious. Well, I'm gonna try it. I mean, I need 1.8 thousand heavy tanks, but that's not so bad. Whoop! Japan just declared war on me, though. That's a weird choice. Okay, guys. Well, let's just go ahead and get this party started. And looks like a lot of green where I care about it. Yeah, these panzers are pumping out like 600 soft attack with 600 breakthrough. We're taking almost no damage. Not to mention, he can't even pierce it, so I'm only taking half damage from there. Oh, the armor meme works. Oh, for frick's sake, the Kingdom of Italy decided it should be independent and declared war. Right. Alright, admittedly the Soviet Union put up more of a fight than the Allies did. That took like 1.5 years and cost me a lot of men, but I also wasn't really playing well, you know? It's just like, we're at the end of the game. So screw it, I'm just gonna take everything. And after another year of fighting around Siberia, I finally have landed in Japan, and now it's time to steamroll. As long as we can keep up with the local supply generation, we'll be fine. Tokyo is down, moving into Osaka. Hiroshima and Nagasaki done, and Japan is out. Thank you. Unfortunately, since China has still been involved in this war and never died, I have to fight them to get all my colonies. Oh my god. It's fine. At this point, I think I've proven my point. Crush China, grab a couple more colonies, boom, more achievements for me, and we did accomplish our goal. So Germany is stupidly powerful. They might honestly be a little bit too powerful. Either that, or it's been so long since I played a major nation, I don't even know what it feels like anymore. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and found this guide helpful. You should be able to follow it step by step if you want to, and as long as you pass the RNG tests, you will also be able to get the Woman in the High Castle achievement. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Don't forget about those desk mats, which are available up until January 1st. And of course, I will see you guys next time.